Good evening, everybody. This is the Hornets, the BuzzCity post-game show for game number 24 of the Charlotte Hornets season tonight. I'm your host, Danny Thompson, check with you on this wonderful, actual Sunday afternoon. This is one of the few games that Charlotte will play on a Sunday afternoon, and we're talking the best Hornets post-game show live here on Happs TV, YouTube Live, Facebook, and everywhere you hear the sound of my voice. Once again, I'm your host, Danny Thompson, senior NBA writer for the 3pointconversion.com, who covers the Charlotte Hornets. And like I said, it's the most comprehensive post-game show you're going to find anywhere. So if you're on the Happs TV app, once again, or any place else, please, by the way, join Happs TV right now, which will be at happs.tv.com/Danny Thompson to subscribe to all the times I'm on live because, with Hornets post-game, you never know when they actually end because sometimes games do go to overtime. If you're on Facebook Live or any other platform, like I said, like, share, comment, tag the post, and tag all your Hornets friends everywhere. Sorry about that. It's the day before the Super Bowl. What do you want from me? But follow me on Twitter at Danny DANNY number 3 Thompson on Twitter as well too. So let's get into the post game show tonight. Well, a post game show for this afternoon actually. Hornets played a rare Sunday afternoon game because the Super Bowl is going on tonight, and literally this was the game that if anybody needed, if anything that Charlotte needed today was a win, this was the game to do it. The Washington Wizards coming in are arguably the worst team in the NBA, and they've been lowly all season long, even though Bradley Beal is one of the best players in the NBA. Charlotte took care of business this afternoon. I mean, it took care of it pretty handily, 119-97 over the 5-15 Washington Wizards. Charlotte now goes to 11-13 on the season, and they start a stretch of games at home over the next couple of days that are going to be really, really important for the Hornets as they try to push closer to, as we get to the All-Star game, the early part of February. Also, if you're watching the Happs TV app, stop by and say hello. That way you can put your comments on the screen. And like I said, share, and tag the post as well. So let's get into this game tonight. Before we get started, before we get started into the game, Devontae Graham was out with an injury. He was not unavailable to play, might be able to play tomorrow. We're not sure. It's back-to-back. It was a good chance he was going to play more of Monday than today. PJ Washington's back in the lineup for the first time in a while, and he looked to be at pretty much full strength. There was no hindrance when it came to his minutes today as we got to the pregame. And Washington, like I said, their previous game against Miami, they had got punched in the face by the Heat. It was like 122-95, I think it was on Friday night. The Wizards have been pretty bad going into it. And this was a game before the game had even started where the second quarter was going to be key because Charlotte and Washington are arguably the two worst teams in defensively in the second quarter in the entire NBA. The Wizards have been giving up literally almost 33 points a game in the quarter. The Hornets are right around 31, right in front of the Sacramento Kings. Like I said, the worst team in the second quarter. By the way, big shout outs to Mike Patton. His show was on earlier today. And my main man, LA Broadus. Appreciate the high award as well, too. And if you feel like LA and you want to donate to the cause, by all means, donate to the collection fund. It's Sunday. What can I say? Appreciate that, Mike, on the high award as well, too. And yes, Charlotte did handle business, by the way. All right, so going into this game, Charlotte needed this one. They had been beaten pretty badly by the two best teams in the NBA they were beaten pretty too bad in the last couple games. Utah and Philadelphia, two best teams in the NBA, had handled business against the Hornets. In Charlotte, in a stretch where it's 3 games in 4 days, you had to get some kind of momentum in the second part of the series. So Washington comes in, scores the first 7 points of the game, and you're thinking to yourself, this is going to be a long afternoon. But Cody Zeller got Charlotte started early. I think he had the Hornets' first 7 points first 7 or 8 points, and he even knocked out his first 3-pointer of the season. At that point, you knew that Charlotte was going to be a long day for Washington. What Charlotte did today was it was a game of runs. And when I say a game of runs for Charlotte was they had no more than a 10-point run, 10 straight points at one point. But what they kept doing was you got 7 straight points in a row, and then that's what happened. Facebook users saying Scary Terry's a dog. And I'm gonna get to Scary Terry in a minute because Terry Rozier had a great game today, by the way. If you're a Facebook user, like I said, I don't know your name, but like I said, if you subscribe to Happs, I will find out who you are in the process. So Cody got off to a good start. And really, like I said, 8 points in the first part of the first stretch of the game. Charlotte kept stretching the lead. They got the lead up to about maybe a couple in the first quarter, maybe 3 or 4, and then what they kept doing was they kept getting 4 or 5 points in a row. LaMelo Ball was controlling the game. Gordon Hayward was off to a good start. Charlotte was playing the defense that you expected, but unfortunately, at the end of the first quarter, it was 34-31. Del Curry has been saying all season, you don't want teams to get to 30 points. Now, even though Charlotte was up by 12 in the first quarter at 29-17, Charlotte kind of had a lapse. They got the lead down with a 14-5 run by the Wizards. But the house of horrors that has been the second quarter for the Charlotte Hornets has been something that was completely different today. And when I say the house of horrors for the Charlotte Hornets has been the second quarter. If you go back to the Utah game, Utah, I think, was 39-25 in the second quarter because Utah started launching threes. The Philadelphia game, they played better, but they were down 30-13 in the first quarter. If you go back to the previous games where they've lost, it's been in the second quarter. Like I said before, Charlotte had been giving up 31 points a game in the second quarter all season long. And really, in the last 3 games, have been almost 40 points, almost 35, 36 points a game a quarter in that second quarter over the last few games. Well, the defense locked in. And outside of Bradley Beal in the second quarter, because Bradley Beal is, what can I say, is Bradley Beal, the Wizards could not hit a single shot in the second quarter. Outside of Bradley Beal, who was 4 of 10 in the second quarter by himself, the rest of the Wizards, and you got to give Hornets the credit for this one, the Hornets held the Wizards to 7 for 3 for 18 shooting in the second quarter. Not one other player other than Beal hit multiple shots. But what Charlotte also did was, to the question about earlier about Scary Terry woke up. Remember, he came off his ankle injury on Friday, didn't seem like he was himself. He said he felt fine, but it wasn't the same Terry Rozier. Fast forward to the second quarter today, Rozier and LaMelo Ball. I say Rozier, I'm going to give Rozier the credit first in this one. Rozier goes off in the second quarter. He knocked out a couple of three-pointers. He was playing that pressure defense, and Russell Westbrook couldn't do much else. And LaMelo Ball was driving in the lane. Those two combined for 22 points in the quarter. The Wizards scored 21 as a team. On top of that, Miles Bridges grabbed every single rebound, it seemed like, in the quarter. He had 8 rebounds in the quarter. Charlotte had 21 rebounds in the quarter as a team, which was a growing story and a growing trend in this entire game. Rebounding. Charlotte collapsed. The defense started looking like they normally play in the second half. Wizards scored 21 points. Hornets had a huge lead, got the lead up to 17 in the second quarter, and you knew at this point Charlotte was on cruise control because the Wizards were just really, really bad. They got the lead. I think it was a 3-point lead. Charlotte went on a 23-5 run to make it a 21-point lead with about 3 minutes in the quarter. They were up 17 at halftime, and you really knew this game was in control. Third quarter comes out. Charlotte continues to extend the lead. And then at this point, it was 82-60 midway through the third quarter. And that's the only time in this game the league got under 22 points. Rozier had another big quarter in the third quarter, knocked down another 12 points in the quarter. Rozier finished with 26. And at that point, Charlotte was just blowing them away at this point. In their most comfortable win of the season, they got up. And this is, I think, the second time this season where he hit 100 points in 3 quarters. They did it in the Atlanta game as well, too. Charlotte is now one of 3 teams in the NBA at the end of the third quarter because they were up and blowing them away. One of 3 teams in the NBA this year that are undefeated to start the fourth quarter. When I say undefeated, Charlotte is now, after today, 9-0. And Utah and Philadelphia, the only 2 teams in the NBA who are undefeated. They're 9-0 after today when they lead in the fourth quarter. And for a team that's the top 5 youngest team in the NBA when it comes as far as youth, to be closing games out in the fourth quarter, that's a very, very good sign. And the fourth quarter happened, and it was really much of a blowout in the fourth quarter. Charlotte got some guys into the game that we haven't really seen in a while. And, they never, like I said, the lead didn't get under 20. It was their second 20-point win of the season. And we even got some timing for guys that we ain't seen all season. So Charlotte finishes the game, like I said, one night. It was a dominating performance for the Hornets tonight on both ends. This might be the most complete game they've played all the way around. 119-97 is the final. It was a complete thrashing from start to finish. Give the Hornets a lot of credit tonight. Like I said, even in the fourth quarter, we saw minutes from guys we don't really see in the fourth quarter. Nick Richards finally got off the bench for Hornets fans. I mentioned this on Friday. This would be the Nick Richards game. Richards finally got in the game for Hornets fans. He played about 7 minutes, a couple of points, a couple of rebounds, and even had 2 fouls in 6 minutes. So we got a chance to see Richards get off the bench in some you might want to say garbage time, but for him, it's the most minutes he's played since preseason as well too. Because in the fourth quarter, Bradley Beal, the only starter that played in the fourth quarter was Russell Westbrook, and I think he was planning to play for a triple double, and he fell 1 assist short, by the way. Hornets now are 11-13, and now they're jumping ahead. I think they're 6th in the Eastern Conference with games still being played today in the standings. Hey, listen, 11-13, but in 6th place in the Eastern Conference as a guy covering the Hornets, I'm really, really extremely happy, and it's a good sign. Facebook user says Nick Richards looked blah. Hey, listen, what we expected from him? He wasn't going to come in and get a double-double in 6 minutes. I mean, there's not much more you can do about it. But I mean, one of the plays of the game, and Mike Patton just mentioned, the Wizards. Listen, you could beat the Wizards, but Bismack Biyombo had probably the play of the game. I didn't get the clip of it earlier. It was a drive, I want to say, in the third quarter, where Biyombo, where actually Rui Hachimura was going to the basket, and Biyombo met him at the rim. Unfortunately, the Hornets couldn't hit the transition three-pointer. Monk fed Rozier, who actually missed a three-pointer at that point. But to Mike Patton's point, nobody beats the Biz because, I mean, Hachimura tried it and failed completely. All right, so what does this game mean? The Wizards are bad, okay? We all know this. Everybody knew this going into the game. Bradley Beal is the NBA's leading scorer, and he checked out with 31 points in 28 minutes. He shot 11 of 22 from the floor and really looked a lot better than he did the other night. Here is the problem. Bradley Beal had 31 points and 31 of the Wizards' 69 points before he checked out midway, like towards the end of the third quarter. The Wizards are just flat out horrible. I can't put any more words to describe how bad the Wizards are. With a team with Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal, Davis Bertans has shot is still in last season. Hachimura is actually getting better, but you can tell this team misses Thomas Bryant because the Wizards went out and trotted out Alex Len in the starting lineup today. And Len had a wonderful performance for the night. In his 8 minutes he played tonight, he scored a grand total of 2 points in 8 minutes as a starter today. That's all I'm saying. The Wizards are pretty bad. I'm not sure how much more Scott Brooks can take of this. I'm not sure if Scott Brooks is even going to last much longer after this. It was Charlotte's best defensive game of the season. It's a game they needed. I don't know how much more poorly I can play on Washington, but let's just say this. Charlotte held them to 22% behind the arc. They got to the line. They shot 37% from the floor, Washington did. And the Hornets had 59 rebounds as a team today. I think it was a franchise record today. Nothing Washington can do was right. They turned the ball over. They just looked really hapless everywhere. And even though they got to the line more than the Hornets did tonight, in their time, it was just really just bad to watch. I mean, the Wizards are 5-15. I don't know what the Wizards can do to fix their problem. I really don't at this point. Deni Avdija, rookie, only played 15 minutes. Raul Neto had 10 points. Like I said, Robin Lopez played pretty solid off the bench. He had the second most points in the team with 14. Russell Westbrook, even though he fell 1 assist short of a triple-double, only took 9 shots. Like I said, this was a complete beating from start to finish. Now, let's talk about what the Hornets did tonight. Listen, or this afternoon. One thing Charlotte needed today was basically get some rest. And if you look at the minute totals, Coach Borrego had mentioned on Friday that LaMelo played almost 40 minutes and played almost too much. Tonight he played 30. Gordon Hayward played 30. PJ played 28 in his first game back. But Malik Monk led the team in minutes with 32, and Bridges had 31 minutes off the bench. So Charlotte was able to get a lot of bench minutes off those guys, even though Cody I think should have got more minutes on the floor. It was a blowout. But the minutes were there. It wasn't as much wear as tear. Rozier on the hand today. Rozier was phenomenal today. Listen, Terry, this might be the best game Terry's played in about a good 3 weeks. Now, he did miss 2 games due to injury, but his first game on Friday looked kind of off, and he was playing really well in that Milwaukee game until he got hurt. What Rozier did today was he didn't score a single point in the first quarter. He started warming up in the second quarter, and he looked like the Terry Rozier that was carrying the offense in the first stretch of the season. If you look at the numbers in the stat sheet, Gordon Hayward had 25 points. You're wondering, I am now literally talking – we're now, 15 minutes in the show, and I finally mentioned Gordon Hayward, and he had 25 points. Hayward had a quiet 25 points. 25 points and 5 rebounds, 5 assists. And Gordon Hayward is just solid across the board, and his mid-range game was on point today. LaMelo Ball, 19 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, only 1 turnover. So LaMelo Ball has had only one turnover in his last two games, and as they started, with the exception of the game, he had six turnovers. There was six turnovers against Philadelphia because that's Ben Simmons, and the Sixers' defense is completely different. LaMelo hasn't had a game over, I think, two turnovers in the last five. So it looks as though, and I mentioned this on Friday, his demeanor, of course, is always going to be at a high level, but he's playing at a much slower tempo, at a much slower pace. You got to love it. He's having fun, and you can look at the guys. There was a time, I think, when Miles Bridges had a play in the second quarter where he had a dunk, and you can see the joy on their faces, the Hornets players' faces as they were doing this. It's fun to watch. The Hornets are a fun team to watch, and to Mike Patton, they need Jesus in the Washington locker room. Listen, at this point in the year, I don't know what to do in Washington. LA brought us in the chat as well, too. My main man, LA, about Scott Brooks. Yeah, they might need a new head coach. I don't think a head coach is going to fix the fact that Washington can't score anywhere. I don't think that's going to fix anything on both sides. I don't think it's going to change anything. They're just completely bad right now. If you see in the corner, you see Terry Rozier, one of his threes. This. I'm not sure here. Gotta love it. Frozen computer here. I think that'll go away in just a second, everybody. Sorry about that. Yes, that's the part of trying to use live video. As you see, Terry Rozier knocked down a 3-pointer in the corner, in the corner baseline. I don't know what to fix about Washington, but really, this is not about Washington. LA Bryce is being funny. Is Jordan the GM of the year now? No. Jordan, I probably said good morning to everybody this morning, but no, Jordan's not the GM. This has all been a good Mitch Kupchak job. Like I said, drafting LaMelo Ball, and I think you got to give James Borrego a lot of credit for the development of LaMelo Ball. I mean, LaMelo was developing, but I think he's learned a lot from his time early on this part of the season. Charlotte just hit threes everywhere today. It was just really one of those games where Charlotte got open. They played good defense. Like I said, this was the most solid performance Charlotte's had this season. They hit 15 threes, but they played very well defensively. Charlotte now, as like I said, 11-13. And listen, the attention of America is starting to fall on the hands of the Charlotte Hornets. Why? Well, because of the fact of Charlotte being Charlotte. Like I said, we're still getting used to showing highlights feeds. So, yeah, we're still getting Mike. We're still figuring this part out. I'm still working the highlights out. But if you look at the schedule tomorrow, tomorrow's game against the Houston Rockets is at 7 p.m., but is a national television game on NBA TV. Yes, NBA TV. Why is it NBA TV? Because you see Miles Bridges doing plays like this, following up with a nice easy dunk as well too. So, what is? I don't know why the countdown screen. Maybe it's the countdown to the Super Bowl. I'm not sure. So we'll figure that part out later. But let's talk about the game tomorrow, because there's not really much more to say about this game as the Hornets dominated the Wizards. The Wizards are bad. Going into tomorrow's game, the Houston Rockets come to town, and that means with the Houston Rockets coming to town, that means John Wall and Victor Oladipo will be in the house, in the building. Unfortunately, former Hornet Christian Wood will not be in the lineup. He still traveled with the team, has an ankle injury, is evaluated week to week. So we won't see him tomorrow. But what we will see is a Washington team that can get up and a Houston team that can get up and down the court. John Wall is looking like the John Wall pre-injury. Oladipo has had big scoring moments, and a guy you want to watch besides Eric Gordon, rookie Jason Tate's been playing really well. And of course, they got PJ Tucker. The real question is, can Charlotte bounce back with 3 games in 4 nights? We won't know about Devontae's stats until tomorrow, and hopefully PJ will look a little bit better. He looked off. I mean, it's kind of the same way when you miss a couple of games on the foot. I think he should hopefully be better, in a much better shooting shape tomorrow. They're going to need all the help they can get. And the good news is, if you win tomorrow, that means you'll be 1 game under 500 as well, too. Outside of that, talk about game balls tonight before we get out of here, because this is Super Bowl. Everybody wants to get ready and enjoy the Super Bowl. So game balls today. Listen, player of the game of the day, it's got to be Terry Rozier. It's more than just the points for Terry Rozier. Yes, he had the 26 points, but the defense on Russell Westbrook, and yes, Russell Westbrook finished with 1 assist away from a triple-double, but the fact that Westbrook only had 9 shots, and Rozier set the tone defensively and made the game easier for everybody else. Second star of the game, I'm going to have to give to Cody Zeller. He only played 20 minutes tonight, 16.7 rebounds, a couple of steals, a block, a couple of assists. He even hit his first 3 of the season. Even though the game was a blowout and Washington doesn't have much at center, Cody Zeller does the little things. He had 4 offensive rebounds, and he was also setting some outstanding screens. And finally, the other game ball, I know LaMelo Ball had the 19 points today and the 7 rebounds, the 5 assists, but you got to give it to Miles Bridges. Listen, Miles came off the bench and played with the energy that Hornets fans have always wanted to see from him tonight. On top of the 11 points, he had 14 rebounds, including 6 on the offensive glass. Those are the things that you want from him to do. He had 6 offensive rebounds, had 14 boards for the game, fell 1 short of his regular season high of 15 in the game. Also was 5 of 10 from the floor, had a couple of putback dunks, and was a plus 12 tonight. I know Gordon had 25 tonight, and Melo had his game tonight, but there's so many good game balls to go around. And I didn't even mention Malik Monk. He led the team in minutes tonight, 11 points, 7 rebounds, knocked out a couple of threes, so you got to give him credit there as well, too. Caleb Martin came off the bench, had 4 points and 6 rebounds. Didn't shoot the ball so well, but played some really good defense. And Bismack Biyombo, like I said, is Biz. Had a couple blocks. Like I said, the block on Hachimura. Didn't get a dunk today, though. Cody Martin, 0 points in 9 minutes on 3 shots. And Nick Richards, like I said, 0 for 2 from the floor. He did have a couple free throws as well, too. So, once again, Charlotte took care of business. It wasn't much to really write home about. They will play tomorrow. The game is 7 p.m. The game is on NBA TV. So, if you're not in the Charlotte area, this game is on national TV. Once again, it's a switching of about the LaMelo Ball effect. LaMelo's in the starting lineup. Everybody wants to watch. So check out the game on NBA TV tomorrow. Will be available tomorrow. There is no shoot around, so we won't really have much post-game, pregame coverage on the 3-point conversion YouTube page as well. Check it out tomorrow. Like I said, we'll be around Coach right around 5:15, 5:30. We'll have pregame with Coach and then postgame. In the chat, my main man Ted Hicks is asking a wonderful question about the weekly NBA show. I guess it's Sunday. I really can't say otherwise. The weekly NBA show is coming next week, everybody. So there'll be more. I will talk more about it probably, let's just say Monday. The Hornets play 3 games this week. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of this week. We'll talk more about it. Yes, there'll be an NBA show where there'll be much more about more than just the Hornets. We'll be talking all of the NBA teams. And yes, LA, I will mention about how good Colin Sexton is in Cleveland. And Ted, yes, we'll talk about the New York Knicks. And Mike, of course, I got to talk about Otto Porter and the Chicago Bulls. I mean, Otto Porter's been an all-star all season, so let me stop before Mike has a meltdown in the chat or something. LaMelo Ball has a very, very fun fan base. Let's just say that. A very, very interesting and fun fan base. So check me out on Twitter at DannyDANY3 Thompson on Twitter, as well as aroundtheassociation.com, as well as the Beyond the Buzzer, which is on Monday, Wednesday, on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook Live, as well as Zingo Television, channel 198 on Blackjack TV. Follow my work on the 3pointconversion.com, including the YouTube page as well, too, as well as you'll see today's post game with Coach James Borrego, as well as the very, very funny dynamic duo of Terry Rozier and Miles Bridges doing a joint post-game press conference. And my main man, B-Moss, over on Reddit. What's up, mate? Yes. What's up? I think you're in Australia. What's up, mate? I appreciate you stopping through and showing some love as well, too. Before we check out of here, like I said, the game is 7 p.m. B-Moss, I think if you are in Australia, just remember, the game is on NBA TV tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. I'm not sure what that means in Australia. Mike, we will discuss Otto Porter on another day, I promise. Like I said, the Super Bowl is on tonight, so I want everybody to get ready for the Super Bowl, get your wings on. But most importantly, before we check out, if you are going to be doing Super Bowl, be very, very careful. Wear masks, because this is one of those days where a lot of COVID can happen because everybody's getting together. It's just good to stay home and stay safe. So we'll check you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the Super Bowl. And yes, B-Moss, I picked the Kansas City Chiefs to win today. So check you guys later. Enjoy your pizza and wings. And like I said, go Chiefs. See you guys tomorrow.